Hey, welcome back to Beer Geeks Beer Reviews, and today you see another empty glass. And what does normally this glass entails? And yes, you could see I have just washed and cleaned this glass out per se. Um, what does this glass normally entail when I use this glass? Um, I have another IPA for you. And today's IPA is a one that I haven't had, and it's one that I should have already, partaken in. It's newer now to the Ohio Valley or the Ohio, state. It is boom, Deschutes Inversion IPA. Um, what this beer entails right here, it says Best Buy 4/3/14. Man, we're already into February here, and I wanted to, get at this as soon as possible. There's a little saying right here. Let's see, do they have ABV? It is 6.8% alcohol by volume. That is what is said on the bottle, but I also did one more for you guys and pulled up the website, and it also has 80 IBUs. So therefore, let's just crack this open and get straight into it because, matter of fact, I'm pretty thirsty. So here we go. Uh-huh. Loads of smoke coming from this. Nice color. Nice head on it. Very, very lovely. And to be honest with you, it is a tad bit of a darker head that I'm used to on said IPAs. Because this glass was, still wet. Um, I got a decent pour off of it, but carbonation is like nil to none. That's probably my fault for the way that I washed it. But head seems to be, sticking around fairly well. Let's pour some more into this. There we go. Uh-huh. We still got a little bit left at the bottom of this bottle. As you can see, it's swishing around down there, but we'll get it in here in a minute. Um, Look at that. Look at that color. Man, that is a darker red for an IPA. Let's see. Do they give any type of ingredients? All right, here we go. Malts is the pale, crystal, Munich, and caramel. So they seem to be using more on the end of oh, how would I want to say this? A Oktoberfest style of some malts. The hops that they use is the Millennium Horizon, Centennial, Northern Brewer, Cascade, and Citra. Citra is more or less a newer one within the last couple of years that everybody just seems to be jumping up on. I do have notes that Sierra Nevada and some other companies are using some more test batch series of beer or, of hops in their beers in the coming months. So anxious to look forward to that. Now that we got it all in there, I would say this is more of a reddish hue IPA than it would be your traditional like more of an orangish color because I mean that almost looks like a red ale from there. But head seems to be an off yellow color. Matter of fact, it's got like an orange tint to it, nice and fluffy. It's very thick. It's holding around very, very well. I do see streams of carbonation, very, very slowly creeping up the glass. Um, Other than that, it's just like nil to no carbonation. It's all probably right there in the head. Uh, Tight laced bubbles all the way around with bigger ones in the center. Kind of soapy looking. Stir this around just a tad bit. And let's get a nose on it. And up the nose it goes, as you can see. Love the smell. Love it. Very grassy, very citrusy. There is pine characteristics there. There is a little bit of resin characteristic there. Orange, grapefruit, citrus, like I said. A little bit of like a lemon peel or lemongrass. Like melons, like honeydew. Um, just very citrusy, very aromatic, very grassy green. There is just a hint of like the malt characteristics there, but I'll be getting that more in the flavor notes as I taste it. Gross. Oh yeah, love that. First off, it's very subtle. I could find this one very drinkable, even at the 6.8%. Um, it does have that slight piney characteristic to it, very, slight resinous, but it does have that citrus. But it does have a little bit of a spice note to it. I'm going to chalk that up to some of the other malts or some of the malts and some of the hops. Um, I'm not too in depth in just being able to pick out all them, hops right off the bat. I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing some work on that. Um, the one thing that I would love to do is be able to try single hopped beers because therefore you're able to pick out more of those flavor profiles from that single hop. It also works the same well with single malts. Uh, but anyway, back to this. Um, mm, it does have a light red fruit um, characteristic to it, kind of like a strawberry or raspberry. Um, very light, very fruity. But as well, that pine notes are showing through. The resin notes are showing through. Malt characteristics is like I want to put this one on the medium to low end of the mouthfeel. I also want to say that the malts are there. They're a little bit biscuity. They're a little bit grainy. Kind of like chewing on fresh grain. You get that little bit of a husk flavor. It's there, but at the same time, you get that caramel flavor. You do get that, like I said, the breadiness, the biscuity notes. Oh, excuse me. It's very good. Very clean, very refreshing. Alcohol, it's like almost non-existent. You really can't taste it, and that almost makes me want to believe. Um, I've mentioned this once before, and I'll do it again real quick. Um, a lot of these sessionable IPAs are coming, um, what I'm saying with a higher ABV nowadays. I mean, you're getting a nice beer. It's very clean. It's very fresh. It's very, refreshing. Um, what can we consider a sessionable IPA nowadays? Because of the fact that a lot of these beers, a lot of these, I'll categorize it like that. A lot of these beers nowadays that are sessionable to a lot of us are actually building up in the alcohol content. So in the end, what I want to ask you guys, this is a really good beer, but it's 6.8% alcohol by volume. I could probably sit back and session one, two, and in a day, I could probably session about three or four of these. Um, if that's the only beer that I'm going to drink for that day. Other than that, I would like to, kind of switch it up and get into something new. So do you guys still believe that the sessionable beers are like the 5.5% or lower? Like there's 5.5% that are very good, very sessionable. There's 4.5s, fours. There's even a few left out there that are actually the traditional English ales that oh, who was it that made one last year? It was Sam Adams, and they actually made I'm trying to look at my shelf real quick. I've got so many up there. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm looking at all these bottles. I've got like a huge shelf over here if you haven't seen it, which will be coming up in later on reviews. But there's some out there that like the English style of ales that are like 3% or 3.5%. Those would be very, very, very sessionable to me. But again, I'm going to end this like that. What do you guys believe that are sessionable ales? I find this one it could be, borderline. But other than that, good beer. If you haven't tried it yet, please get out and try it. rate, comment, subscribe. Please don't drink and drive. Please don't text and drive. And as always, you can find me, Scott White, your host of Beer Geek Beer Reviews, up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and most of the times nowadays, off and on Reddit. With that said, I've wasted too much of your time. I'm out. Peace.